Hi there, I'm Rod Bergeron, and thanks for joining me for another quick and easy watercolor painting. Today we're going to paint something that I seen yesterday actually. It's sort of early winter here in southern Ontario, and so I've wet the top sort of from the half down to the 1/3 line here of this page. And I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to not rinse it out, but I'm going to pick up some Payne's gray because I want there to be a very atmospheric sort of, wintry kind of cloudy sky, and that's what I'm going for here. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm not going to rinse it out. I'm going to put it right onto my Payne's gray, okay? And then I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's gray across here in a few places, and a little bit of Payne's gray here in a few places. Okay, just like that. So you see I'm tapping the brush onto the page. Now I'm going to rinse that brush out, and I'm going to pick up some yellow ochre. And I just want there to be a little bit of yellow ochre in the background here. You might not see any of this by the time we're done, but hopefully we're going to be able to just see a hint of yellow ochre in the background here. So again, I'm going to take this brush, and this is a 3/4 inch flat brush. And rinse it off really well. Shake a lot of the water off it, or you can take a tissue or a piece of paper towel and just dry it off a little bit, but you really want there to be some water left on it. I'm going to go right back into my Payne's gray, and I'm going to pick this up very intensely. So you can see I'm going to grab quite a bit of Payne's gray here. I'm going to tap that into this water, into the edge of where that's wet on the page. Okay, I'm going to pick this up a little bit more intensely, and again I'm going to tap it onto the page. Okay. This is my number one round watercolor brush, and I've sharpened the one end of it here. Now, you don't have to use this. You could use a barbecue skewer, wooden toothpick, really anything that's wooden. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scribe into that line there. I'm trying to make it look like there's some trees in the far background back here, okay? Just like that. And you can make these go in all different angles if you need to, okay? And I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to go back to rinse that brush off, and I'm going to pick up a whole bunch of blue here. So this is just a blue wash that I have. It's fairly intense. And I'm just going to touch this along here in a couple of places. I want that blue to run up into those lines. All right, so I'm going to rinse this brush off, and you can see how this is starting to look very winter-like across here. Got kind of a dark line of that Payne's gray going across there, and I think we can probably just take our brush. So this would be a thirsty brush, so it was wet. I dried it off, and I'm just going to touch it along there and take some of that intensity out of there. You see that kind of all pushed down there, and I like some of the stuff that's going on in there right now. That's kind of pretty cool. I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to put it back into the yellow ochre, and I'm just going to touch this in a few spots like that. You can see that's all starting to push up into there very nicely. All right, yellow ochre. We're going to make a line coming across our field like this. And you can see this isn't really a brush stroke. It's really me tapping the page, okay? Tapping the page along in a line. And I'm just sort of making it allude to the idea that there's some snow, and this is some grass or some foliage that's sticking up through the snow, okay? Again, I'm gonna take this brush, put it back onto the yellow ochre, pick it up a little bit more intensely, just tap it into a few places like that. All right, that's coming along pretty good. Now we're going to take this back to our scribing tool. So I could say scribing tool. This is my number one round watercolor brush again, but this is what I use to describe lines into my painting. So what you're really doing is you're making a little valley for the you're making a little valley for the paint to run into. Okay, that's pretty nice right there. That's kind of what it is that I'm going for. But I'm going to rinse this brush out, knock some of the water off it. I'm going to pick up some sienna, okay? And I'm going to pick it up pretty intensely, a little bit more intensely than that. And I'm going to touch this in a few places. Again, the same deal, just touch it in a few places, not everywhere, okay? And then back to the scribing tool. I'm going to scribe out of that. One last thing here. Rinse your brush out really good. I'm going to put a little bit of dark across this area, across the front. So what it is I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush. I rinsed it out really well. I'm going to go back to the Payne's Gray. I'm going to pick up a whole bunch of Payne's Gray. And that's all I'm going to do. Just touch it in those very few places. Okay, just like that. And now we're just going to walk away, right? Don't try to do too much more to it than that. We want all these colors to bleed and go to wherever it is they're going to go naturally, okay? So you don't want to use a hair dryer on this right now. Let's just let this completely air dry and see what we get. All right, let's have a look at this. We were wondering if the yellow ochre was going to show up anywhere in the background here after I just touched a little bit. You can see there's a little hint of yellow ochre in the background back there. But look at this tree line that's all been, made for us, and we didn't have to really do any work for it. Again, this is the yellow ochre with the sienna and the little bit of Payne's Gray in it. And you see how this Payne's Gray has sort of blended in with this yellow ochre and this sienna really well. And our snow line looks really fantastic in this particular one. And we put our mat on there. That really sells it for me. I really like this painting. I'd love to know what you think of it. Let me know in the comment section. And if you ever have a question or a comment, if there's something that you would like to see me paint, please drop me a line in the comment section. I'd love to see your work. Here's my email address. If there's something that you would like me to see, I'd love to see it. Please send it to me. And thanks a lot for watching. As always, if you're currently a subscriber, thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you again next time.